nest. I'm guessing those are red-winged blackbirds because they basically hound me the whole time I'm out here. Now I'm probably going to get screwed because I left that corner open and everybody's heading back over there. So fix one problem and I'm probably going to create another. Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to Ohrmundt Simmentals. All right, Saturday afternoon. Dad and I took a little trip this morning, which has been kind of on our radar as something we want to do, and made a small little addition to our arsenal that we've kind of wanted for quite a while, but that will be for a later video. Just was a decent price, decent condition. Unfortunately, it's down by Madison, just east of Madison. It's like a 2.5 hour drive there, 2.5 hour drive back. So sometime in the next couple of weeks, we got to find time to go get it. And we haven't cut any hay yet. So yeah, tons of fun. Right now, I just want to do anything that does not involve sitting. So I think I'm going to do is go down to the shop, and we still have the panels for the console. There's 3 panels. There's like or is it 2 panels? No, 3 panels, because there's 2 for the sides and 1 for the front. So there's a couple panels I need to go back on there because we're not digging into that. We're not going to have a new steering pump put on. The steering's been really actually pretty decent. If there's anything that probably would need to be done, it does not need to be done in there, hopefully. Want to find out, there's that power cord that goes up to the radio. We got to find a better place for that. A little something to protect that when we put that shield back on, because we don't want to cut that wire again because it was cut the last time. Got to unhook the fencing trailer. We'll get down to the shop. But it is this shield and then this front shield. So yeah, but I need to find a home and a protector for this, because when we put that guy on here, this is gonna be in here somehow, and I don't know how that's not going to get pinched or something. I don't know why somebody set this up like this to begin with. So we got the 42 all buttoned up, so kind of nice to get that done. I mean, obviously we've been kind of waiting to do that, but we are going to cut the ditch with this. We've never done that before. We kind of thought about it the last couple of years. I don't know what height setting that is in also, but honestly it'll do a better job than the brush hog. And then I'll probably go down and put the brush hog on the Mahindra. I really should feed a bale for the yearlings before I do that, just in case it takes me a while to get done. Then I don't have to take it off. I'm not pressured to take it off right away. The only thing is we just got to make sure we miss that. So apparently on 2 pods, Dad put the knives in backwards. I was looking, I'm like, this thing is leaving massive streaks. It doesn't do that unless like there's a huge nick in the blade or something, but no, it was in backwards. So luckily it's only on 2 pods. And honestly, this is why doing like the ditch or the field next to the house are really nice. close spots. All right, this should work better. Either I grabbed the wrong pod or Dad gave me the wrong pod. It doesn't really matter. We just had to swap the two because the pods will alternate. The outside ones will spin in, and then the one next to it will spin this way. So you kind of, in a sense, create rows where you have two pods working to shoot them together, and then they work their way down the line. That actually didn't go too bad. There is a little bit of a rattle though in there. I'm not really sure what that's about. And it's just like, it sounds like sheet metal rattle. If it stays dry enough for a couple of days, just run the baler over the top of it and not try and rake it. All right, second crop bale. I grabbed it with the pallet forks and Dad's swapping out. He came over here, he wants to bed that because he's worried that it'll get too bad, which is just fine. It is a little bit wetter than I thought it was too. But then again, we haven't been around all day, so, well, 3/4 of the day. But it was a pretty decent trip, and I think it's something that we've been looking at. And again, I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but we've been looking at one for years, and I think it'll be a good addition to what we need to do. All right, we're setting up the line here. Got the post walked out, and we are just running the line back. One thing that's definitely really nice to see, obviously our pastures are pretty heavy bluegrass, this stuff. I'm pretty sure that's not rye, because it's a little too fine stemmy on the bottom. But we do have ryegrass in here. We do have some reed canary, that stuff with a little more purpley on top. So that stuff's coming. And we got a little nest. I'm guessing those are red-winged blackbirds because they basically hound me the whole time I'm out here. But then I do notice that the Timothy is just starting to head out. Some of it's about 12 inches tall, some of it's about 2 foot tall. So that's really nice. All right, these guys are figuring it out. I gave them a little more space. Factor, looking good. But let's get this girl taken care of before she wrecks something, because she will. All right, I'm gonna see if she comes back on her own. I opened this corner up, so hopefully she does. But I've got like 6 or 8 calves that idiots went under the wire. I don't know how I'm gonna get them in. We'll find out. If I'm lucky, I can just take the line and set it on the other side and scooch them over. But we'll find out. I'm holding this line up in the air. I got all but one. There she goes. Perfect. All right, now I'm probably gonna get screwed because I left that corner open and everybody's heading back over there. So fix one problem and I'm probably gonna create another. All right, let's close this up quick and then go pick up the rest of that temp line, because there's still some decent grass here that I would like them to utilize. And that's kind of the name of the game, but at the same time, there is some pretty soft ground out here, so giving them a little extra space. And I think that is one thing I have to force myself to utilize, is when needed, don't be afraid to just take the back line down, let them have the old space. Oh, they're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but they're not going to damage so much of the pasture like I have done in the past. Because I am walking, my feet are soaked. I am walking through like 2 inches of standing water. Yeah, see this reed canary? I am holding you at chest height. All right, that is enough for today. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. All right, good morning. Sunday morning, and today is going to be a relatively normal weekend day. No road trip today, and it's starting out pretty nice. It's sunny and, well, mostly sunny, I guess. Maybe some manufactured clouds. All right, so we got another bag of the Purina all-purpose. So at least consumption-wise, that stuff seems to be doing just fine. Obviously, we won't really know the difference from going from the NutriBeef to the Purina. You know, as we go through the summer, seeing how stuff kind of comes back in heat, and you know, does it aid in conception? And honestly, we really won't know the difference until we get through this entire breeding season and into next calving season, to see if it helps with retention of pregnancies and all that good stuff. But then we got another bag of the Sweet Licks mineral supplement that has the IGR growth regulator in it. Where was that stuff? Yeah, the Clarifly, or Clarifly. Is it Clarifly or Clarifly? Yeah. So again, that's another product that honestly we really won't know until we really get into the heart of fly season. I mean, we're still in pretty early stages of fly season, but you know, I can see tails flipping down there. And I saw the other day that there were a few flies on them, but there's gonna be flies on them. It's just, you want to try and minimize that just to keep the stress levels down. So one thing I'm gonna do right now, I'm still waiting for Dad, is I'm gonna go grab some wire and a decent splice, and I've got that little extension right by the fencer, and I think I might be losing, if I'm losing even 1,000 volts right there, that'll be a good fix to start with. So let's go grab something to help alleviate that issue. It's like, all this is, well, one, I have a trim up on the line there, but all of that stuff is not even a factor because I have it disconnected right there. Is that the whole problem? I don't know, but that's definitely an issue. All right, I don't like finding problems, but at the same time, I like finding problems, because I know that if I fix that, it's gonna help. How much it'll help, not sure yet. All right, so fixing that corner did give us like another 1,000 on the line. Putting a better splice from the right by the fencer there didn't really do much, but it's a better splice. We put some shrink tubing on it, so that should be nicer. And I've got 5 calves and 1 cow that are on the wrong side of the fence, so a little irritated. All right, so we did a little bit of a crop check. Not overly impressed with the corn. It's been 3 weeks since we planted, but the stuff at the pit looks okay. The stuff behind the house for some reason is still pretty short. But we have gotten a lot of rain, so we probably got some of our fertilizer washed away. That's part of our issue. Well, I think a combination of the fact we got fertilizer that washed away, and the fact that we've just had too much rain. And we got a lot of rain, then we got cool days in there yet. What we're gonna do, we're at least gonna start setting up for it, is we actually thought, Dad thought cleaning this out would be a really good idea. Which I totally agree, because right now we're just kind of burning through stalks and straw bales. So get that cleaned out, get them some fresh bedding. Yes, we're supposed to get more rain, but again, we're just keeping so much bed pack in there that it's just holding water. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the 2030 on the H&S 310 manure spreader, because we're gonna bring it over, we're just gonna haul it over and we're gonna spread it onto our manure pile. Help break it up, help it get on top of the pile a little bit. And all that good stuff. That pile actually needs a good stack job too. All right, let's see if we can get these calves out of here without having to put my boots on. That'd be a goal. All right, let's try this out. This is quite the load. This will be interesting. The cows are actually pretty close up here. I wonder if we threw a couple buckets of grain down, and if I was staged properly, I could head down there and check my fence, because I don't see my reel. That's my other issue, where I have it hooked on the fence there. I don't see that guy sitting there, so there's a possibility that they tore that down, which would be causing us problems. So let's see if we can do that. All right, Dad's got a couple buckets of grain. I got to get on the four-wheeler and try and get behind them, hopefully. All right, don't mind the cows. They're just pissed because we literally only gave them 2 buckets of grain to lure them up here. I closed them off and went down there. They didn't pop the reel off, but they did break another one of my freaking posts. I'm gonna have to potentially order some new posts, which I'll just get them from Ken Cove again. You seem to always have the best prices for those style posts. But then I did find one little spot. I had an extra corner post, or an extra corner insulator, like right over by our clothesline. We have 3 gates there that we can get onto that field. We don't really use that anymore, but sometimes it comes in handy, like today. Well, it was one that I apparently used to use but don't use, and then I didn't take it off. Well, I thought it was hanging in a good spot. It was not. And that's touching the post, and one of the wires was touching live wire. So I fixed that, and there really wasn't anything to fix with them down there, but I've got 5,000 now at the end of the line. So I'm pretty happy with that. That's pretty nice. All right, back from our lunch. Had to grab a couple things from the shop, including some shear bolts. Well, we got it going again. Second shear pin broken. There was a pretty decent rock in there, which will do it basically every time. Softball size, not a huge deal. Bigger than softball size, big deal. Load number 2, let's try this again. Hopefully, we don't break any shear pins this time. I got 2 or 3 left. I like bringing that tailgate down just in case there is still a rock left in there. There's nothing to prevent it from getting kicked to the front. So I kind of like having that down a little bit, so if it does hit the tailgate, at least it'll try and keep it like down and it stays in the actual spreader. Well, let's see how many more loads we got left. All right, load wise, we're done. Just gonna do a little bit of scraping in front of the pad here, and then I can kind of back blade up there where you try to finish but you really can't because there's no backstop. So just some little finishing touches, and then we'll get some fresh bedding in here, feed, and yeah, probably be done for the day. When we started all this morning, the initial plan was to clean the yard, bed it down, and then throw those heifers through the chute and use those blood tests and verify if we need to give anybody estromate and kick them back into heat. Well, we did not anticipate, what was that, 4 loads, 5 loads? We didn't anticipate it'd be that much. We thought it was gonna be like 2. Probably gonna do those blood tests then maybe tomorrow or Tuesday night. And the cows are gonna complain because the cows like to complain. All right, let's get these guys their grain, which looks like Bethany already threw out. Maybe. 2 last things for the day. I'm gonna grab the fence tester and we're gonna check that one more time. I think we're looking at 4 at the end of the line, maybe a slight 4.5 maybe. And the only reason I say halves is because on these little indicators, they go in thousands, but if like it's a really strong 4, or maybe you're just seeing a faint 5 show up, then I kind of say, it's probably more like 4.5. So, but that should be plenty to keep those guys in. That should not be an issue at all. So, got a couple munching on their hay bale. They know it's there. It is Sunday. It is the end of the day. We still got a good amount of stuff done. Cleaning that yard ended up being a little bit more important than, we originally thought. And then also getting a little more juice on this line. That it's just peace of mind. They're only complaining for the reasons that I've already given. So let them complain. But hopefully in the next video you guys will see us doing some preg tests, because Dad does want to get these heifers out on pasture, which I do too, but especially for the 2, we want to make sure that they are bred, or if they are open, that we give them one more shot. And honestly, at the end of the day, if they get bred by Dad, it's a feeder calf anyways. It's not gonna be the end of the world. So all right, end of the video. Hope you guys liked the video. Please, on your way out, smash that like button. Help support the channel. And of course, if you got any questions, by all means, please drop them in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe. Help support us here at Ohrmundt Simmentals. And as always, thanks for coming along.